Yankwa ana yankodi nkomo ne yenhwe de happen away neighboring country meka Togo. Now what you mean GDA say what it say youth no asori sorry wakwapa say sisi ade de kone de enya de omepene ama for nyasingbe yadima etimi atena so almost about how many years there's almost 20 years and beyond. They feel say it is long overdue and yama answer that enkoyi youth no a start dede bebre wo honom sisan so no so de yin na enim say baso sadia Ghana Togo no border no enu ani ase de wo cross akotema committee 3 na oba committee 6 no sa na ete enu nti no sisan so no ete sen ye ne ye nua bema former MP for Kumbungu ura Ras Ras Mubarak ending komo honorable Ras Mubarak ending komo na yenhwe disturbances no I saw an article a watchro and then the questioning that he is questioning the African leadership and all that and who's so ni na no yendi hu komo na yenhwe de eko ora Ras good morning.
Good morning.
Bibi aboko de
Nyame adom ye ho ya megidi se mosomo ho ya.
Ya hu ye pa me ton kan che.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. But how is life treating you after leaving Parliament?
Well, we're very good. We've got a few pardon me. We've got a few businesses out there. I'm sure you might have heard of the Okada Moto mobile app, which is a ride-hailing mobile app. My name, my partners, and a SETI app. You know, the Okada Moto app. Yeah. The long-term goal for that is to do Okada car. Because they won't say all the ride-hailing apps in Ghana, no, they are foreign companies. It's your mobile MIMO, they make the money and they repatriate the profits. So it's about time I also Ghana would get involved in spaces like that. So we've got a few things going, and I've been doing a lot of traveling, until so far so good.
Okay, yeah, the radiation. Maybe sir, the issue of Togo and what is really happening. The youth. I've said more Edia Basis here and the things that are really happening there. Obi ne papa ababedi 38 years. Son has been on since 2005. The legacy still rules. Now youth is up and armed. Say Enyema and Shada and Koye. My monitor with Facebook pages. And Enyema can even comparing Ura for Nyasingbe with another president of the same African continent. Ofo says you're careful and yema beko to mean so. What is happening in Togo? What is your take actually on that?
Okay. So the ECOWAS Togo ne say papa bi ana ye friend Nyasingbe Nyadema obedi o minus 38 years.
Yeah.
Na ote akonya no so no wuye. Owuye no ne ba fo Nyasingbe abetena so 20 years ni. Na enam say pese obeko because they've changed the constitution last year. Omoye constitutional changes turn Togo into a parliamentary democracy, which means in Togo now they only elect the MPs and parliament elects the president and the president of the Council of Ministers. Said no Britain no. Now over this current arrangement, once a 4 Nyasingbe wabedi so 20 years.
Yeah.
Or more current arrangements are last year. The amendment was done last year, and on the 3rd of May this year, it came into effect. And they said Togo, our new president. Yes, swear no on the 3rd of May. But they also have what they call the president of the Council of Ministers. A president of the Council of Ministers, Nominia. Or no, the powers cry essing Obia or president. The president of the Council of Ministers is the one in charge of policy. And the president, or mine is a ceremonial president. So a president of the Council of Ministers, episode man baby, no, I want to take. So my penny be free, baby. Krobi so ebesra omona. The president is a foreign based border. No, I want to take. Into the person who wields the real powers in Togo is still for Nyasingbe because of the position of president of Council of Ministers. But there's also an interesting thing about it because Omayan in such a way that the president of the Council of Ministers, no, or no, yentuna dear so.
Yentu na dear so. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So the point I was making is that president of the Council of Ministers, yentuna dear so.
Okay.
He has an indefinite term limit, unlike the president. The president of Togo has 4 years, but the president of the Council of Ministers has an indefinite term. And don't forget also, say, the friends say Togo, Omo Parliament, and now Omo National Assembly, no, for Nyasengbe Party for and majority. And they would continue to endorse him as the president of the Council of Ministers, which has more powers than even the sitting president of the Republic of Togo. And intina emebuno no abodompem. And intina omotis etiesi krum. And intina omusu se omompene and the rest. Because I mean it's been 58 years. Oden enfia ne papa edi ene ono ankasa edi ne eboma. 58 years of one family ruling the Republic of Togo. And the people feel say they have had enough. And the interesting thing is that I mean this is not the only African country that this is happening. Over Uganda. In Uganda, Yoweri Museveni has been in power since 1986. This is 39 years. Okay? Yoweri Museveni is currently 80 years. Within 80 years. Now, next year, he will be 81. Next year, also no Mosa Akoye elections. Next year, also no Ose Onozo Osa de Noho Esiho to be elected as president of Uganda. Enti na ohe nyoma ya ekoya. I mean, African Union, communities like ECOWAS should be able to talk to their colleagues. Say, they are more ye, emfa asumdwe emma. Because for us in Ghana, and why we should be worried, and they said, God forbid, if the situation in Togo spiral out of control, there will be refugee influx in our country. And if there are refugee influx in our country, ebema resources kakra ye manage afi na yes spend resources not to host refugees in our own country. You remember your friends in Kaswa,
Exactly.
the way we hosted Liberians in Kaswa, and the way the place has literally turned into a den of criminals. You see a lot of criminal activity, and it cost every nation so much to host refugees. And that is why you feel say ECOWAS leaders would be up and doing, and they'll be able to talk to their colleagues and Minia, you are one of us, but the way I will run a country,
Yeah.
we are worried because you say Obi Abodri Shana wasn't you.
Exactly.
For us in Ghana, our resources are constrained. As you know, we have economic challenges. Things are difficult. Yangasa school, Yesuku Kwalakra, Oko Ghana and Krasia. Mbafani bi oha omunya nkonya kra ntena so there are no textbooks etc. Enti person resources kakra would spend that resource to build structures for people who may be running from a conflict enyo muna omope and a conflict in the buy, but because they have a president who is so power drunk. I mean 58 years in power, one family. As a matter of fact, ne papa betena there so no ya bofra. He was about 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah.
Enti sɛ wayɛ dada bi saa wo papa atena so 38 years so abɛtena so 20 years 20 years what's the constitution to make yourself president of the Council of Ministers so that you even have more powers than the president. I mean, this is clearly undemocratic.
It's quite unfortunate, sir. The African continent, we continue to live in that space. Ras, ɛdeɛ paa na ebetumi ahyɛ onipa sɛ mabedi adeɛ ɛsɛ sɛ metwe me ho afei deɛ menkɔ mɛtena so ɛnyɛ sika na ɛdeɛ what kind of power do we want to wield at all at the expense of the ordinary person now said you also would in so look at what is happening in Togo. Economic issue is a problem, youth unemployment is a problem, social issues is a canker, citizens are really struggling, and yet who solution here, but we want to wield power. Are they?
Well, Togo, and I visit Togo frequently. Togo, there's a lot of unemployment. Togo is underdeveloped. We had the levels of poverty, and to think that one particular person has done us for all these years and still nothing has happened. The idea is young people from more Africa do not are very greedy. Person no sɛ ɔno nkɔ yasa nyansa wɔ ne tirim enti ebedu sɛ ne time bɛ so abɛkɔ no wobɛhu sɛ wɔayɛ wagadere na yɛachange constitution ama no. That is what's happened in a lot of the African countries. Wohɛ Uganda deɛ ɛsɛ ya it got to a point kura president ɛsɛte the age for the presidency ansa na wobɛtumi akɔ contest to be president of Uganda at one point. This is only 75 years. Can you imagine? And that law was just changed. So it was done to cut out all the youth who were interested in running, young people, energetic people, creative people who were interested in running for the presidency of Uganda. So it's selflessness, selfishness. And a Bonnie and Sebi Omodi as president. Almost no accountability. Because when he said, we freeze who actually, people would ask him to account for his stewardship. And many people don't have what it takes, to stand up and defend the decisions and the killing and the stealing of public resources that they have done. I mean, for somebody who's been president in Togo for 20 years, you can imagine, Kataso Proya, Akoso, or Kataso. So that is the reality. But I feel, the regional bodies, the African Union as a parent body would have to be strong because instability anywhere affects ordinary people.
Yeah.
It takes the country backward, and it affects other countries as well.
Yeah.
Imagine say there will be so much influx of Togolese in our country.
Yeah.
If we're not careful, we'll end up spending millions and millions of our own resources trying to host them.
Okay. All right. I saw Beko Krano, quick one. Maybe so. I saw your letter to the Minister of Transport regards to accidents that are happening and all that. In brief, Nadia Napesa will catch a Minister for Transport.
Miria. My Ghana, I say you're taking Nyoma seriously. Na Nyoma ehu here no, I say itu hu anamo. So Omaya it is a Ghana. Na nipa 2,000, enya 100, enya 10, enya 20. Nipa baku 2,000. I mean, imagine assembling 2,000 people. Enya nipa ketwa, edom ketwa. That's nipa omewu last year 2024. There be serious accidents. Accra, Kumasi, Accra, Takrade, Kumasi, Techiman, etc. And so, Anamo yet to know, you're serious about it. I'm sure you remember COVID-19.
Yes.
COVID between the year 2020 and the year 2022. COVID, and I'm not downplaying the death, COVID-related death. COVID could nipa less than 1,500, less than 1,500. But your friend is saying, and the more look at the resources we pumped into solving COVID-19. Look at I sorry them now sorry them without wearing a nose mask.
Yeah.
Now Emma studio without wearing a nose mask.
Sure.
Or my Penyanka Sakrano or shed nose mask. Parliament. I was the first to wear nose masks into Parliament. A bedroom maybe no own nose masks are you can't enter the precincts of Parliament. That is how seriously we took COVID. Meanwhile, in 2 years, it killed less than 1,500 people.
Yeah.
Now, in 1 year, for 2,000 in road accidents, and we are not seeing the levels of seriousness with which we need to attach to combating this crisis. It's a national crisis. And I sincerely believe, say, you bet my Eddie Aswasie.
Okay.
I mean, the police would have to be serious. Again, district assemblies. Over here, no, not district muhono. Your friends say, sorry posters, warrior posters, yeah, they are tare road signage, political parties for more posters, yeah, they are tare blocking signposts. I've also, among also erected structures to block the road,
Yeah.
and then also potholes on our roads. I mean, these are things that wouldn't take 6 months to be able to fix.
Okay.
And I would encourage MMDCs, to begin the work of getting things done. And also, DVLA, they should begin to introduce a point-based system, so that if you violate traffic, they deduct points. Milfan said everybody with a license or 100 points.
Yes.
All violated traffic near
Yeah,
deducting. Uber do 49 points near Joe license. It means you
Yeah.
can't drive.
Sure.
You can't use any vehicle.
Sure.
Because if you're not serious in this country, we would continue recording cases like this. And and then we also have to encourage training of drivers.
Yeah.
When was the last time OT said STC driver at the car Kunyam Kunshia? It's because STC drivers are trained. I didn't think that DVLA, any Ministry of Transport, any team for policy said, your friend is saying, if what you call it, that VIP,
VIP, OA troubles,
Southford, Funny, why more
yeah.
taxi drivers and the rest are more driving recklessly. They should undertake training.
Okay.
And you do this periodically.
Okay.
Because clearly, mate in Ibia who can move he gets a license to drive, and they are killing citizens. They are killing young people, they are killing students. Amount for kununum, amount for yirinum, amount for ma. Is this the kind of country we want to build? Where we don't take the death of our citizens seriously?
Well, let Anna me assure say Minister for Transport assume, and it's good. Again, you are even entering into the transport system with your Okada and all that. Who here say fata say obedi hon komo ye pa. Yeah, that's it.
Exactly, and I'm hoping say the minister for transport would be open because offer now on far. Some of us we don't need any. I hope say he will be open because offer now on the phone for 2 months. I've been trying to reach him, to discuss some issues on Wangasa Naswe Ebebuano. Offer now on fire, you text him, he doesn't respond. I mean, we expect public officers, to be open to members of the public.
Okay.
We're not coming to you for, any other thing than to help you execute your mandate. And if members of the public are trying to reach you, at least, who message, even finance ministers and chiefs of staffs are returning calls and messages. How much more a minister of transport?
Okay.
So he's got to get a bit serious and have an open door policy to members of the public.
All right. Ras, yeah, that's it. Zika so chill.
Also, imagine so. I know what to say.
I know here. See a wenyeska. Into no see a no here.
Signing on fee no one mami binti. Eja mi ami ni akuma me bo ano kakra. You're signing on. I expect my share of the signing on fee. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's super. Ras Mubarak and Yanono 18 common former MP Emma Kumbungu and Yanono 18 common Yanini common the issues that has to do with Togo and I face so issues that has to do with the accident ACC Chrome Hanum not in year pa. And I think it is really not going well. I know who command any idea. No mama sheti bin mo quick one. I Togo the AC wo hono. I soja for no and police for no any youth no pa wo street so easy. Omo ejero so pa e wo hono. And the way an MSC kono ebe hadwini ye pa. I mean look she youth ba kwa ya chi no. Ba ku ya me hwe bro pa belt. Aye de bo sa youth ni ye form just say we collapse you, but soldier for the police for no said that omo ntwe ma no omo de belt pan ni omo keni bo branty pa o form ho no because oko road so anasa wako say sebio de corner and sem fatanti no or also a who protest, and this is what is happening away Togo. And who's Susansono, a home command a year because Omudi and the Islam D can as we trust street team committee 3 now committee 6, work another community and Kasa, and Untino say, say dia. It's so be bre a Ghana man and no de share street in so I mean share tear gas share street in so ye share one more share Kessben TV no almost share tires almost block it quite no. I mean it's serious. I mean Beshe senior Niema AC Koso away Togo. I mean it's not exciting. Effect in about Ghana so no I know the year pass ya careful na sadi we into me and share ama and Niema into me and kuya ebe ha dream ye pa. I mean look at it. Look. Wow. Annoying. And I think that they say ECOWAS and no mama Kenya and almost share water ye pumps tank ye boost you go so on the street. In so share pa and ye shaguni paso. Wow, share street in the so because you protested. And this thing is serious. I mean, and Yandia may sure say to be trusted here. Shem ranting in Jano Mujani Moto. Senior echo. Ow. I'm sure say baby. Almost said ye chase sebbing and moano and cocono. Sana aquaco yes is here. You did yes almost. I mean, it's really bad. Really bad. 20 minutes past the hour of 8.